Hi everyone, Talia from Zart Art, and today we're going to be making a cityscape silhouette on tracing paper. So the materials that we're going to be using today are tracing paper. So tracing paper is slightly transparent. You could also use baking paper if you don't have access to tracing paper. We'll also be using black marker and some coloured textures as well. So to begin with, what we're going to do is just draw a silhouette of a cityscape onto the tracing paper. So a silhouette is just the black outline, so a very simple shape of a city. So you could choose to do a city with iconic buildings, or you could just draw something from your head. So all I'm going to do is draw our cityscape in black marker, moving across the page. Now I've just drawn the outline of the city in a fine liner. What I'm going to do is black out the inside so that it will be the only opaque part of the image. It will be opaque because it's on the tracing paper, so the black will blot out the transparency of the tracing paper. I'm also leaving the whole background bare because we're going to be making 2 layers for this piece. So my foreground, which is this cityscape, is going to be just left as a blank black outline, and then on our next piece of tracing paper we're going to create the background and use some colour in that. So just for now I'm going to colour in the rest of the cityscape so it's nice, black and opaque. So as you're working, just so you're not drawing on the surface underneath, which is the table, on these edges you might just want to have a piece of paper, newspaper, cartridge paper underneath, just so you don't draw on the table. Now we've blocked out all of our buildings, all we're going to do is set this aside and just allow that to completely dry. And now going to grab a second piece of tracing paper, and the next step is to use our coloured textures to create a bit of a background. So I'm going to steal a little bit of inspiration from Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night, and I'm going to emulate some of the line work that he uses in that painting and create almost a starry night sky myself. So of course you can do any kind of background you like or any kind of skyscape that you prefer, but I'm just going to use that as my source of inspiration. So all I'm doing for this to emulate the kind of effect that Van Gogh uses in his work is just to do very quick, very short lines, and that will create a little bit of texture and a little bit of interest in the work. Of course, using texture, it's going to look much different to if you were using paint, but I'm just trying to get an idea of that sense of line work, a sense of that texture in the background, which will create a lot of interest in the work. as you're drawing, what you might notice is the texture takes a little bit of time to completely dry. So just move the page around so that you're not putting your hand into your freshly drawn texture and smudging it. So just be aware of that as you're working on your piece. Now I've got a little bit of a background coloured in. Of course, you don't have to do it this style, or you might want to create a few different backgrounds, because what we're going to do is grab our little cityscape and we're going to layer that over the top. So as you can see, when they're placed on top of each other, you'll get the cityscape in the foreground, so it's black, opaque, and everything behind it, being this little starry night background, is blocked out. So you could do a few different kinds of backgrounds, you could change the colours or do some different scenes from day to night, but what we have here is just a really simple 2-layer cityscape. So this is a really great activity for display as well, because you could put it up against a window or something that has light coming from underneath, just to accentuate some of those features. But otherwise, it's a really nice, simple activity that you can do a lot with and do it in lots of different styles. Really hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you next time.